Shalom Aleichem, everybody. At the end of Parshas Be'aloscha, the Torah tells us that Miriam receives tzara'as because she spoke badly about her brother Moshe. And like everybody with tzara'as, she had to leave camp. She was not allowed to live among the rest of Bnei Yisrael. And the Torah tells us, however, that the entire time that she was outside of camp, Bnei Yisrael did not travel. Why didn't they travel when she was out of the camp? Rashi tells us, based on the Gemara in Maseches Sota, that it was a reward to Miriam Hanaviah. Why? Because so many years earlier, when Moshe was a little baby and he was placed in a little basket and sent away from his parents, Miriam Hanaviah waited for him. Because she waited for Moshe so many years ago, we are waiting for her now. And the question is, that doesn't seem to make sense. Miriam Hanaviah waited 80 years ago. This is 80 years later. Why do we have to wait because of something she did 80 years ago? And not only that, that was one person she waited, one baby, one Miriam. Now we have all of Bnei Yisrael, 2 million people, 3 million people. So 2 or 3 million people have to wait until Miriam comes back into camp because of a tiny little chesed that she did 80 years ago? So perhaps one can suggest that this is a message for you and for me about when we think about doing chesed. Sometimes when we do an act of chesed, we say, what impact does this act of chesed really have on anybody? It's a tiny little thing. Why am I even doing this? And this parsha teaches us, absolutely, that's a wrong attitude. Because look at Miriam, a tiny little chesed. And because of that tiny little chesed, making sure that Moshe was safe, all of you, Bnei Yisrael, 2-3 million people sitting in the midbar, because of that little act of chesed, in quotes, we are all alive today, out of Mitzrayim, in the midbar, after we received the Torah. It's a crazy idea that a tiny act of chesed has so much impact in the world. And that's a message for you and for me. When we have something small to do, there's no such thing as a small act of chesed. Even small acts of chesed have impacts for years and years to come. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.